So, we will start the second half of the day, kindly asking Mr. Lansky to join us again on stage. This time, he is going to give us an inspirational starting shot for the rest of the meeting.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay? Thank you very much. It seems like we lost a few people. So I get to address you twice in one day. The Brits have a nice expression for this. They say it's a bit like making love to the Queen. It's a great honor, but you don't really want to do it. I am, however, happy to be here. I'm glad somebody gets this joke. All right. As everyone gets seated, what I want to do is two things today, and both of them are going to involve bringing people up on stage. And if you're still talking in the next 10 seconds, you're probably going to be one of the people that I'm going to bring up on stage. Oh, that worked. Okay, everyone's quiet now. This is what I want to do. So I was speaking in Copenhagen last year, and they had this new campaign that they were announcing that says, the end of tourism as we know it. And what they did is they put up online, and they had done a survey, and they said 96% of people in Copenhagen think tourism is a great thing, and they're happy to attract even more visitors, and they would like to welcome more visitors into the city. And they say mass tourism is not yet a massive issue because 96% of the people want more tourists. And I looked at that and I thought, BS. I didn't believe it. I sat down in the meatpacking district of Copenhagen the few days that I was there, and I sat with locals, and I asked them, I said, do you guys, what do you think about tourism? Do you go into the city center? They all said, no, we avoid it like the plague, it's full of tourists, we hate it. And I said, well, they're talking about expanding tourists to this area and other areas, spreading them out. And they're like, ugh. Every single person I spoke to, bar none, hated the idea. So how is it that they got 96% of the people to say that they want more tourism? How does that work? Some of these surveys that you see online and in respectable journals, it's a little bit difficult. So what I was going to do today is bring up two people and illustrate how this is possible. So I'm going to make it real easy. We're going to bring up in the front row someone who speaks English real well, who I just had a nice chat with, who's on their phone. Could you just join me for a second, Patrick? Just for a second. Come up. I'm not punishing you for being on the phone. That's okay. Everyone else is. It's all right. And then over here, do you mind joining me? Is it okay in English? Real easy. No? No? You preferred, but everyone prefers not. Come on up. It's going to be fine. Isabel, everybody, and come on up on stage real quick. I'm just going to ask you if I could have one person stand on each. This is an official survey, so we need to have two people answering to make sure. So here's what I'm going to do. We're going to just go through this, and I'm going to ask some simple questions, and I promise it's going to be very easy, and you can both answer, and then we'll see how the survey goes. Have you had some great experiences traveling in your life? Yes. Do you feel your travels have helped you understand foreign cultures better? Absolutely. Yes. Do you think travel helps others get a better understanding for the world? Yes. Okay, I told you this was easy. Do you think that this cultural understanding helps bring people closer, provides an important piece of education, and makes the world a better place? Absolutely. Yes. Do you think that the money that tourists spend helps the local economy? Yes. Do you think travel and tourism is a positive thing? Yes. Okay. Now forget we had this conversation, and we're going to go to the next one. Same question. Next line of questioning. Have you ever experienced delays or lines, long queues when you've been traveling?
I'm afraid yes.
Yes. Have you ever seen articles about tourist overcrowding or ever experienced overcrowding yourself?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Can too many tourists in a single spot have a negative effect on the visitor experience or diminish in some way how the locals experience their own town? Yes, okay. Does the influx of tourist brands like McDonald's and Starbucks somehow, or even cheap Chinese souvenirs, have an effect on the local culture? Yes, okay. Do these same international chains take some of these tourist profits overseas to their corporate headquarters, thus reducing the full economic impact on the local cultures? Yes. Between airplane emissions and cruise ship waste and people littering, can tourism also take its toll on the environment? Yes, yes. And last question, do you think that travel and tourism, when left unchecked, can have a negative effect?
We should minimize it, but I'm afraid yes.
Yes? Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining me. So in this little report, so I could go out tomorrow and write an article and say, of the people that I surveyed, men and women, 100% said that travel could be a negative thing. I could also say 100% men and women said travel and tourism is a positive thing. So when they're telling me that 96% of people definitely want more tourists, when everybody I spoke to said completely the opposite, I'm wondering, how did they take the survey? I want you, the point of this exercise is when you read this stuff, and I know the people in this room are very well educated and you like to stay on top of what's happening in the industry. You're reading up on what's happening in the industry. And when you read this kind of data, please take it with a grain of salt. These people who do surveys are also very clever and they can make the results go pretty much any way they want. So just something to keep in mind. And then I'm going to do one more lesson, and I'm going to bring up some people who are hiding in the back over here. 1 second, I'm just going to grab somebody. Could you two come on? Just come on up. Yeah, come on up. I just want to make this next little thing is about the service industry, because if we're in hospitality, we're in the service industries. Could we just welcome them to the stage here? Ladies, I'm going to ask you both to take a seat right here. You barely have to do anything. So let's pretend for this mini case study that I am the maitre d' at the hotel restaurant. And these lovely young ladies have walked into the restaurant and I've said, it's so wonderful to see you here today. I'm so thankful you decided to join us in our restaurant. Here's what I'm going to do for you because you're so nice. I'm putting you at the best table in the whole restaurant. And on top of that, I'm going to bring out a free bottle of cava. Not bad. One of your meals, you can decide, will be free. If you want dessert or coffee, also free. There you go. And I walk off, and when you start talking to each other, what are you thinking? Why? Are you suspicious? Do I want something from you? What's coming next? So here I took all this valuable, lovely things, I showered you with gifts, and instead of being really thankful, you're suspicious. It's a natural feeling. Hold on to that feeling for a second while I bring up somebody else. Ladies right here, could you both come up? Is that okay? Or you're listening on this? You can, English okay? Come on up. It's okay, it's okay. I won't bite you. Well, maybe a little. Could you also come up? Yeah. You? Yeah. Oh, great. Is it okay to come up here? So we're going to just do a different scenario here. So if you could have a seat right here in the middle. Thank you very much. We could just give them a round of applause for joining us on stage. Thank you. So now we're going to do a slightly different scenario. I'm still the maitre d'. I sat you at a regular table in the back of the restaurant. And then you ordered from your waiter. They brought some fish. And you noticed that your fish was undercooked. So you told the waiter. He said he's really sorry. He took it to the kitchen. He fixed it. He heated it up. And he brought it back. And he said, is this okay? And you said, yes. And now he told me. The waiter told me. And I come walking in as the maitre d'. And I say, ladies, I heard what happened, and let me just say on behalf of the hotel and the management, this is below our professional standard, and I want to try to make it up for you. So if you don't mind, let's start by doing this. I hope you're not too comfortable, because suddenly I realize our best table, our best table just became available. You guys gotta get it. Our best table is now available. Could you please sit over here? Is that okay? Our best table is now available. And on top of that, what I'd also like to do is treat you to a free bottle of cava. Your meal that was undercooked, of course, that's on the house. If you would like dessert, it's on the house. Any coffee you want, we're also going to cover that. I hope you feel this begins to make up for your undercooked fish. Again, I apologize. Have a lovely day. Enjoy the kava. Enjoy your meal. And if there's any other problem, please let me know. Are you suspicious? No, not really. Would you say that I made up for the problem? Maybe even more than made up for it. You're like, when I walk away, are you saying, wow, that was really generous? Maybe even so generous you go on social media with a picture of the kava and say, look what I got for my undercooked fish. So this is the interesting, you guys can go down, by the way. Thank you very much. Appreciate your help. This is the crazy thing with tourism in the service industry in general. What the best thing that can happen to win over customers is when things go wrong. You want things to go wrong now and then in the service industry. That's your best chance to win over customers. Things go wrong all the time. We have a lot of understanding as customers that things go wrong. But we don't have any tolerance when people don't fix it. But when they do fix it, and they overfix it, when we feel most vulnerable, that's when they win us over for life. That's when they create this deep bond between the brand and the customer. And the problem is, so few people in the service industry look at it like this. So few people have been trained to look at it like this. So if you have a guy who's carrying the luggage into the hotel, and he just drops the luggage of somebody a little bit, you don't want him to give out a coupon to that person for 3 months in the presidential suite at the hotel, but maybe a drink at the bar. So to know what the right response is for the right level of the problem and how to kind of overdo it a little bit. It's about training your staff. And if you train your staff, if you have this approach to making the mistakes right, you're going to go a long way with whatever you do in any part of the industry. And this is something the whole industry needs to get better at, because I think we've all experienced a ton of problems that have gone unresolved when we've all been out traveling. And as you know, there's nothing more frustrating. So teaching the industry to fix that problem and overfix the problem is going to make the entire industry a lot stronger. That's all I have. That's our little wake up. Get people up on stage. Thank you very much again for your attention. Oh, one last thing. I had a lot of people asking about this make-believe video, and then I did this with the card. It actually works. The company's called, they asked my name, it's called GEOS. I gotta remember, it's Guest Experience Integrated Operating System. I know the guy. If you want to, I can give you his phone number or his email if you're interested. But it is a real thing. It's pretty cool. It's like ski data for the city. So it's pretty exciting stuff. It was cool to try it yesterday myself. Have a great day. It was a pleasure meeting you. I hope to see many of you at the hotel and around. Take care. Thanks.
Thank you, Doug, for filling us with new energy again.